Hey guys, and welcome back. I am going to do something that has been trending along authortube lately, and it is just author confessions. Confessions of a writer. And I will share mine with you. I loved this idea, and I will put a couple of others author confession videos that I have watched down in the description box below if you want to go check them out. Every writer has secrets. Sometimes they come out in a book. Sometimes it's just something they still keep to themselves. But these are my author confessions. These are things that sometimes I wish I would not confess out loud, but I'm going to anyway. And I'm only going to share a few. If you'd like to know more, just let me know in the comments below, and maybe I'll do another confessional later on. My first confession, though, is I have a hard time staying on one project. I really do. I will get going really well, like full force, done, like chapter 1 done in a day, chapter 2 done in a day, and then I hit a wall. And when I hit that wall, I give myself kind of a break, because a lot of that is, you know, that's writing 4,000 words in a day, maybe more, maybe a little less. But then you hit a wall, and it's not even a creative wall, because I'm learning to really outline. This is going to be another confession in a minute. I'm learning to really outline. And so I kind of already have direction as to where to go. And I leave enough wiggle room for things to change, which yeah. I'm going to have to rework my outline for one particular character because they went and did something I was not expecting. Anyway, I do get distracted very easily, and I have all these great ideas that pop up. So I am learning to write them down, but it is so hard to stay focused because you're thinking, oh, I want to write this, I want to write this, I want to write this, I want to write this. And already having 2 works in progress as well as one project I really want to get done before Christmas, just because I think it's going to be a great idea. And then here came something else this week. I had to write it down. And the very first thing I want to do when I get home is sit down and start plotting and figuring out characters and settings. And I had to tell myself, stop it. Stop it. I wrote out a little bitty tiny blurb, just kind of where I wanted to go. And I just have to put it to the side. I have to finish what I started, and that is hard for me to finish the project that I started. It takes a while. It's why I haven't had a book out in a while, is because I just get so distracted. Yeah, so that's my first one. I think many others can probably relate to that. Maybe other people in other areas. Maybe you paint, maybe you scrapbook, maybe you really spend a lot of time in your planner planning and decorating, and then all of a sudden you're not. That's me too, but that's a different video. Maybe it's a project at home. Maybe it's a decluttering project. Maybe it's your yard work. I don't know, maybe, but I have a feeling I'm not the only one that gets distracted and then gets stopped and then has a hard time going back to pick it back up with the same motivation that you dropped it in. Tough. Confession number 2. Oh my gosh. The very best part for me in writing, the part that I love the most, is the pre-writing. All the character development, the plot, the setting, the outlining, the prepping it, the getting it ready to go, where all you got to do is sit down and write. A lot of the hard stuff, because with that comes research and figuring out an area, and you want it to be legit, but you don't want to really have it where it is just copy and paste. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like it's a good balance of creativity and research and organization and all that jazz. And that just lights me up. I honestly have considered starting my own little side gig of having writers come to me with their idea and doing that part. As far as the bones of the book, that is my favorite part of writing, is the bones, the skeleton, the thing that sets it all up to take place. Yeah. I don't know why. It is just one of my favorite things to figure out. All the little details, the quirks of a character. Did she have a backstory that needs to come to the front in her position in this story? Does he have a hidden life he doesn't want exposed? Do they have kids from another relationship that they never knew about? Those kind of little itty bitty tiny twist twerks and fun little gigs. That is my absolute favorite part of writing. And if I could do that for a living, I would absolutely drop everything I'm doing and do that, because like I said, it lights a fire under me and I love it. That is just the best part ever. So if you've ever wanted to write a book, but you don't know where to start and you're not sure how to develop characters and that jazz, and you want someone to do it for you, hit your girl up, because that is my jam. That is my jam. There are people who will be ghostwriters and write a whole book for somebody. I don't want to do that. I don't want to write a book for somebody, but I would love to sit and just create their characters and plot and outline, where all they have to do is just take that idea and write that chapter. Take that idea for chapter 2 and write that chapter. With their own little twists and turns, because it would be their book, not mine. I wouldn't own anything to it. I just get the creative outlet of creating those. That would be the best job in the world. My third author confession is I actually like outlining. Had you asked me 2 years ago, I would have told you absolutely not. I'm a pantser. I knew what my book wanted to be. The first 2 that I wrote, I knew what I wanted to do, start to finish. I knew how I wanted it to end. I knew where I needed it to begin. And I knew a few things in between, but I didn't know a whole lot. I kind of left it open. And it's great when you do that. In fact, I was in the middle of writing a book last fall, if you guys remember. And then I dropped it because the characters took their own lead, and I do let my characters kind of take their own lead and be who they want to be in their story. And I know that's probably going to sound really weird and you'll think I'm nuts. But as you're writing, these characters do take on life. They take on a life of their own. And when you walk away from a computer shocked at something that just happened that you sat there and wrote, is an amazing, crazy feeling, because you're like, how did that happen? Because you're just an outlet for a story to come out. You're the ants doing the little work as the creator is creating. It's just the best. I do love it when my characters take on their own life and they shock me. It's difficult though when you have an outline and they go and do something different. However, I'm learning to let that happen and then go in and adjust your outline and your plot to figure that out. And who's to say that it's gonna stick just because they did one thing? Maybe they rekindled a love with someone, and that wasn't in your plan, but it did happen. So then what do you do with that? do you expand on it, or do you just wait and see what happens? So I am going to discover what that is today, because that actually did happen in the story I'm writing right now, and I was not expecting it. So that is, ooh, I'm so sorry, Shelby girl, I didn't see you down there. I am very much enjoying outlining, because I can sit down and I know, okay, I'm working today, and I am working today on chapter 5 of 28, I think. You're so silly. She crawled under the table, and now she's crawling underneath through the chairs. So I am starting a new chapter, and my goal is to write that chapter today. I do have a big writing challenge that I'm wanting to attack, and if I actually do it and film it, you will see that either Monday or Tuesday. But I'm loving outlining, because you can kind of go in and redo a little bit. But if you got a good strong bones, like I said in my confession number 2, if you had those solid skeletal system, that bones figured out, then the other stuff is just extra fluff. Maybe it's an extra dimple you weren't expecting to put on someone's face. Maybe they have higher cheekbones than you thought. Not physically, I'm talking in the story. Whoa, Shelby, girl, tornado. All right, and so confession number 5, and that will be the last one. As she drinks water. I'm not always as organized as I appear when it comes to writing. I may have it all together, but they're on index cards and notes here and sticky notes there, and if you had to put those together and you found one part of my story, you would have no idea what it was. And I would hope that if I'm plotting a death, that nobody discovers it, because that could land me in trouble a little bit. I always say and I tell my husband all the time, if for any reason my computer is searched, you need to let the police know that I am a writer, and there are some questionable searches on there because I'm a writer, and we have to know how somebody dies sometimes, so that it is actual and legit a little bit in the storyline. You don't want to say someone had an aneurysm without knowing the ins and the outs of what that is and what could cause it, and could a substance that was taken cause that, kind of have to go through the whole jizz of it. So those are my author confessions as of 2020. I may do a second edition come the end of the month. The end of the year, but I think what I'll do at the end of the year is lessons learned in 2020 as an author. But if you would like to hear more confessions, let me know and I'll see what I can come up with. But those are my 5 biggest ones, and they're nothing crazy. So that's that. I do not read as much as I should, and I don't write as much as I should. And I'm determined to fix both of those. I will see you guys tomorrow.